In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still back.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Krause. But before we begin, if you guys can please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. And go check out our brand new website, haveyouseenitpodcast.com, where you can find exclusive content and our Patreon page that we have just put together. We're going to be having some exclusive content there, including exclusive reviews, exclusive movie news episodes. So there's a lot of cool stuff in the works on our Patreon page. So go check that out at the haveyouseenitpodcast.com.
Yeah, we're finally on the interweb.
We are.
We're getting on there. We're a little late to those kind of things.
Late to the game, but hey, we are here, you know.
Yeah, for people who don't know, there's a whole entire internet of connecting websites and these things.
Who would have thunk?
Fucking fantastic. It's amazing. I'm sure it's going to turn the world around for sure. But yeah, we're on there and we're getting a Patreon ready as well.
We are, yeah. And go check out our social medias too. You can find all that on the website. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff.
A lot coming.
A lot coming, yes,
For
sir.
sure,
We're just getting starting.
Yes, very exciting. But let's get into why we're come on.
Of course, let's jump into this. I cannot wait to talk
Foreign
about
Film
this.
Friday.
Foreign Film Friday. You bet your ass it is.
You bet your sweet ass it is. And we're coming all the way from the Danes.
Yep.
We just did one from the Danes.
We just did, yes. Drunk.
Another round.
Another round, yes.
Yes. Yeah, and we fucking love that.
It's great.
Oh my, I love that movie.
Well, we're running into a theme here with our Foreign Film Fridays and the Danes.
Well, as long as it's got Mads in it.
Of course. Malkinson, he's...
Which is for some reason, I mean, they have to lock him up, put him in a fucking vault.
Yes.
Because he's a Danish treasure.
He really is.
They cannot let this guy... I don't know what's going to happen to them if they lose him.
I will riot, first and foremost.
Well, I think the entire country may collapse.
Yeah, they very well could.
Because what he is, when we did our Q&A, we talked about some of our favorite actors.
Mm-hmm.
I should have, it's a tragedy I did not say him, because he's so...
It's a hard one to put on the spot, because there are so many great actors out there and so much talent. But yes, he is definitely on the list, unquestionably a favorites. He's so
Everything
good.
he does... from Hollywood, and then he's true to his homeland as well.
Yes, he
is. You know, because he does a lot of Danish stuff as well, and it's always good.
Yes,
but this is more the Mads Mikkelsen that I know more of. He's I said in another round, it's kind of weird seeing him not being a badass.
Though he did a great job, and it was a great film too. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely. But he was just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Not in this one.
Not in this one at all.
But he does drink. I have a theory that he drinks in every movie he's ever been in.
Well, hey, you gotta let the edge off a little bit while you're on set.
He is. I feel like another round might be more true to who his character is in real life than it was. But he drinks in every movie. Casino Royale, Hannibal, anything I've seen him. He's always got something in his hand. But I think that's just the Danes.
It is the Danes. They like their booze.
They're so damn happy. They're like always ranked like the happiest people on earth. Mm-hmm. No fucking wonder.
That's why you're always buzzing, bro. You're always buzzing.
I think we'd all be happy too. We're all at a cool.
Well, if we could handle ourselves,
no, America.
We can't. We just get hammered.
There's no such thing as getting buzzed.
No. Not with majority of Americans.
It's
That's the
blackout or
problem.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's blackout, get arrested.
They're like, I get drunk to forget my
Blackout,
life, forget my
fight your
problems.
wife,
Right.
wake up in a cell. That's the American tradition.
It is.
And that's how America.
they're
But
keeping it
Danes
strong.
can get, they can have a few. They can dance with their high school students,
Yeah, and then do a lot of stuff. Well, they can even give their students alcohol to take a test.
Absolutely. Hey, take the edge off.
Take it
you
off.
fucking pussy.
Yeah, come on.
That's
It's just a test.
little peer pressure, too.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, he is back in full fucking form for Riders of Justice. Let me tell you, hate the name of this fucking film. It's like the most generic name.
It is.
Once you get in the story, it kind of makes it's a name of a biker gang,
Yes.
a Danish biker gang.
Yep.
Which I assume is just like the most polite biker gang in the
sure.
world. They're so nice. They're just, but yeah, it's an action comedy. It's directed by Anders Thomas. That's how you would say it.
Anders.
And I just looked it up. He does. He has an Academy Award for a short film
Makes
called
sense.
Election Night that I've heard of a million times. I've never seen it though. But he's got some Hollywood connections as well.
Really? Of course he does.
He was one of the writers. I'm sure one of probably 30 writers for The Dark Tower. Bum bum bum. I'm sure it's very possible that because for a movie like that, that's so bad, they had a million rewrites. So he could have definitely been one of the earliest ones to come in. Yeah. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate because compared to the writing of The Dark Tower to this, they're just leaps and bounds different.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was kind of funny. That's
interesting.
There's a little connection there.
Now, do we want to start this podcast off hot? Because I got a hot take here.
Oh, is there any other way?
No,
it's a
there's
high
no
side
other way.
podcast.
This is my favorite movie of 2021 so far.
Whoa.
I'm dead serious.
It is incredible. It's the kind of film that you watch where it's like, it's nothing. It's not super profound or anything.
no.
It's not like it's doing something new.
It balanced everything perfectly, though. I mean,
Yeah.
there were very intense scenes, and then there were some hilarious scenes in
Oh,
this where I was
so
laughing
funny.
really hard.
The Andy Reid looking guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The guy who, for any of our foreign fans, will not understand that
No,
joke.
not.
But look up Andy Reid and whoever the fat guy is in this movie, and they are a fucking dead ringer. It's so... But that guy steals the show. He was so
funny.
Oh my god!
Well, and then they
he's
had to like
so-
rub his back and stuff.
Every time he get frustrated, and that whole story about the French horn or whatever, and at the end,
At the end,
they're
like if I gotta hear this shit on Christmas, and then he's like,
that guy was
like
really
rubbing
funny
his back.
too. But
Yeah.
the fat guy, he's like, "You're in uniform at whatever some
high
hill."
school, yeah,
And he turns around, doo-doo, just perfectly.
yeah, playing the little drummer boy.
French horn too, and
Oh,
a
man.
notoriously difficult instrument to
I
play.
can imagine.
Yeah, very difficult. But yeah, this movie it's phenomenal.
It is.
I want to
From
say
start to finish, I was engrossed and enthralled. Like I loved it so much. The story of this too, and just how they balanced everything.
and so heartwarming. This movie
Mm-hmm.
is super. It tugs on your heartstrings. The whole dynamic of them, like of the guy losing his wife, and then like him getting this community of these weird fucking guys, and then they find like the Ukrainian sex slave guy, and now he's like the mom of the house,
Yeah.
and he's like making her lunch and shit. It was cool to see. It was really cool, and it was like, oh,
And that's
like
something
that's
that,
what they needed.
Yeah, exactly, because that was something Mad Milkinson's character was missing in his life, his friendship.
Yeah.
His people to surround him. He was a loner. He was this special forces Danish fighter, where-
Yeah. Fuck, who would have guessed
I
they're
know.
such badasses over there?
Well, hey,
who
when you
isn't
got
fighting in
Mads leading the
Afghanistan
charge.
right now? I mean, fuck, we can win that goddamn.
we can. It's been 20 plus years.
We got 80 different countries that got soldiers.
Wild, dude. It's wild.
You know why? Everyone wants a
Oil.
piece of that oil,
Of
baby.
course, it's
everyone.
Do
Send
not
everyone
fuck
over
with
there.
the petrol dollar. You will die.
Send every soldier we got.
Yep.
Even if you're the nicest country in the world.
Of course. They still want part of that piece of that pie.
Hey, baby, why not?
Hey, we'll take 2%. We're not a very big country.
A little off the top. What do we got to shoot a couple people every once in a while?
Whatever. Who cares?
And they look good doing it too.
They do.
they're set apart from the American army. They look, they're just stylish folk.
They are.
That's the thing.
They got good style over there.
It's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, they look so nice, but
they're killers.
oh my God, they're killers. Yeah, they fucking are.
Oh, man.
All of them are. But that's what I just loved about it. The writing is so, and I talked about it kind of, but it's not complicated writing. It's anti-complicated. I mean, it's so simplified.
But every scene in this film had a purpose and led to I felt like there was no wasted space. And this is a 2-hour film. This is very easy
1
to
hour,
go
58 minutes,
over that threshold where you're like, oh my God, you could have cut out 15 minutes of this. I felt like every scene was important for every character in some sort of growth in a different way. And like, that is something that I loved about this film is like every scene I felt mattered.
And it does, you're absolutely right, and it does something unique where it kind of flips the anti-twist on your head, where the entire time, as the kind of cynical film goers we are, we're thinking, okay, where's the twist to this? Who's a double agent? Who's going to betray him?
Yep.
We're going to end up finding out that this explosion was something much deeper or whatever. It's anti that.
Yeah,
Three-quarters in,
completely anti that.
Yeah, we'll get into spoilers, but 3/4 in, you end up figuring out that they waged this war
against the Riders of Justice. Yeah.
And this scene could have been like an easy scene to do, like a comedy-esque, like, oh, well, we fucked up. We kind of did this. But it's like the darkest scene in the entire movie is where Mads goes in and he finally puts down this this facade that he's been doing of this very hardened man, and he hasn't shown any emotion yet. Up until this point, when he starts smashing the fucking mirror.
Bro, and that
he has this Nicolas Cage Mandy moment.
He does have his Mandy moment, but times 10.
Yeah,
The man's covered in blood, punching windows, headbutting.
He's killed
mirrors.
a lot of people at this point.
He has. He's killed a lot, but don't feel too bad for him.
Yeah.
They are gang members.
But I just love that, man. I love that it ended up, and even at that point, I'm thinking, oh my God, whatever the guy with the bad arm, I'm thinking this guy maybe he's for some reason he's tricked Mads into killing all these people because he has some nefarious
some sort of beef. No, none of that.
And then it was like, oh, his daughter died. I'm like, oh, for maybe that's connected to the Riders of Justice. They had no. He got drunk, drove into a tree.
Yep. And we got to talk about that because that scene is one of the most powerful scenes that I've watched in cinema this year.
Yeah.
The acting was phenomenal. It was not over the top. It was real and rooted and grounded, man. I'm telling you.
This film could have been so easily been like a slapstick like comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Like we've seen so many of those types of films where they have to go like on like a revenge, but everything is funny, you know? Like a Kevin Hart geared up with The Rock or whatever, something like that. It could have been like that, but there's some scenes that get so where you think it's going to go one way and then it gets so fucking dramatic. Like that scene when they go where they're all geared up, they train a little bit, and the fat guy is going to go.
He's like, I'm just good at assembling things.
Yeah, and they go and they end up ambushing these guys that are in a car. And this fat guy, you know, this whole time he's talking about how
he's going to do
how
it.
He's
has
down
no
with killing
problem.
these people.
Yep.
Exactly. But then he does do it, and Mads ends up killing him. Yeah. But then he gets in his car and he has a complete fucking total breakdown. But the acting is so... And this guy was
really
like
good.
the comic relief the entire time. And then he has this incredible moment. It's just... It's phenomenal. And
it's an incredible moment, too. And it was very childlike in his performance. It was very realistic, and I believed it. Where he started, like... He kept repeating himself. He's like, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do this again. I don't want anything to do with it. And you almost felt like it was childlike in that approach.
Because any fucking lazy writing would have turned all these guys into action heroes towards the end, right? And that is, again, is like what they were like going for. Like, we want training or whatever. We're gonna do this. And any other movie, I feel like, would have turned them into action heroes by the end. Yeah. Like fucking Fantastic Four. Like, these are all regular guys, and now they're all fucking super spies. But it never happened like that. They never wanted, no one ever kills anyone. And Matt, at one point, he goes, well, the first one's the hardest. The guy pretty much says, is like, no, it's not going to be like that. And it's not that kind of fucking movie. They're not, these guys aren't killers.
They're not.
And they never fucking kill anyone. They can't do it. And that's, I felt, was just super realistic portrayal.
Yeah.
But just bold, man. Good storytelling. good
Very
fucking
good
storytelling. Yeah.
And too, I like the comedic elements a ton in this, and I really felt like every moment where you were supposed to laugh, I felt like a genuine laugh come out because I thought it was funny. One in particular was the psychologist scene where they're like pretending that it's a child psychologist, and then he's the adult, and he goes, "No, you'll talk to me," and then he leans over to Mads.
Yeah,
he's like,
well, that
he's been
guy
with
was
every therapist alive over 4,000
and we find out
hours.
he's got the most fucked up past in the world. It's so fucking wild. I can't believe they was. You know, finding out that he got like raped and molested by his dad and his uncle, whatever. And that scene when it's crazy, but that, like you said, that scene is hilarious.
It's
when
so
he's
funny.
telling her, because at first he's like really shitty as like pretending to be a therapist,
yeah.
but then he has her doing like goofy and fun things. It's kind of taking her mind off
Well,
the fact that her mom's dead.
And then you look at his notes, and it says like 3 things, and one of them has chubby, and then he circles it, and then at the very
I
end,
love that
he
you're
goes,
just chubby little salami.
little
She's like,
salami.
what?
so
They give that
funny.
out of nowhere.
And that was perfect editing too, because that was the end of that scene.
Yeah.
You know? And it was great comedy for me. It just landed.
But let's talk about that fucking scene when that guy and Mads is in the car, and Mads gets mad at him.
Yeah.
And he pulls up the car like he's going to fight him. And the guy runs out to the field. I was like, I don't know how to react to this. I'm like, I don't know what kind of, I'm like, and he runs out to, it's not a comedy.
No.
Yeah, like he runs into the field, pulls his pants down like he's just like presenting himself.
Yes.
It's fucking, like, what are we happy? Like, who are these guys? They're all so fucked up.
They're super fucked up. And you look at like at least for me, the psychology behind that. And I looked at a man who was obviously traumatized growing up, and that he's literally submitting himself.
Oh, and that's how he always took it. That
Exactly.
whenever someone's mad at him, but it's so like, what kind of movie is this?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Is this a revenge flick? Is this a psychological drama? That's what this film does. It dips its toes in so many different.
But see, for whatever reason, as crazy as that scene was, it told
works.
us a lot. Yeah, it told us a lot about not only him, or more specifically the guy kind of with the skinny guy, right? The psychologist. It told me a lot about his
not a
character.
really psychologist.
Well, not really a psychologist. So I'll do this in air quotes.
Both of them were like
for the people
computer
on
guys.
audio.
They just did algorithms or whatever.
Yes.
Which is that jumping all around. That plays kind of a huge part in like
It does.
they did this algorithm that was able to see, okay, this one thing happens, and then blah 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 blah, all this shit. And
When they claimed, they found proof that he was OCD, this
Yeah.
Riders of Justice 2 was going to turn.
basically
on
they
the-
create this algorithm that they can predict catastrophic events,
Yes.
like anything.
Yep.
But it connected with the entire story. I won't get into too much, but it connected with the entire story of this whole thing starting off with the old guy and the bike. The old guy and the daughter, how he went to the guy and he said, I want a bike, I want a blue bike. Then they end up stealing Mads' daughter's bike.
Yep.
That forces him to end up having to take the train, and then that's how his wife dies. But it was like the whole thing of these small things set this off.
Yes.
And then we get a beautiful ending of that old
bike.
guy getting her
Yep.
bike, which is the whole thing that set this
And see,
thing
that's
into motion.
That's again, it's just such good script writing. Like from
Yes.
start to finish, there were so many just great moments in the film. I really enjoyed this one from start to finish. I would love to go through and read this screenplay as well.
Yeah, I would
hard
do,
to do
yeah.
because I'm sure
I'm
it's
sure
in a
there's
different
an English
language. But
translation to
if there's
that.
an English translation, I would love to read through this because. I mean, this has got to be one that you kind of emulate off of, or build your own script off of, because there are a lot of twists and turns, and just subtle ones too. But
Yeah, and we barely brushed on it, but the action is phenomenal.
it's awesome.
The sound editing, the gun sounded fucking amazing. It was it was but that was like such a small part of what I thought was going to be the entire movie.
Right.
Was going to be like this fucking revenge flick, but no,
And-
it's much more than that. But the violence is fucking, it's gritty, it's brutal.
It's very
Very well done. And Mads looks like he took the role very serious. I mean, his form of shooting people and whatnot looks very military-esque. But
That's the thing with Mads. I think this is one of his best performances I've seen him in. Like, I love this role.
he's
for him.
done so. I mean,
he's done so
he
much.
gives.
I know, but-
One of those guys who just gives 110% to everything he does, because I feel like he only does roles that he's passionate about.
And this is a great screenplay. I could imagine him reading this halfway through. He's like, yeah, I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even have to finish the screenplay.
And the director's Danish, too. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
of
it
course.
really
Yeah,
fucking
so that
works.
helps.
Yeah. I'm sure once they get a good script in over there, they're like, we got to send this to Mads. We're like, every time they get like...
He's the lead for everything in every film.
I mean, the best scripts go straight to fucking Mad.
Yep.
Because he's like, yeah, I mean, we got one guy. I mean, we got to use him. I mean,
use
everyone fucking knows this guy at this point.
When he probably works for pretty cheap at this point. He seems like a kind of guy who would do a film because he loves it, you know?
Well, I think he does these great, amazing films, and then he comes over, does one... You know, he could take less for these films because he comes over and does one American film.
Does like a really good film.
Well, does a James Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he can go and fuck off for 10 years.
Yep.
And then he can come back. I mean, he did Hannibal over here, which I'm sure they paid him a shit ton.
Oh, of course they did.
Yeah, because he's perfect in that. So I'm sure they pay him fucking a ton of money to come over here. And then he's able to go and do these smaller things, you know, maybe even have a production or some kind of, you know, credit or something like that.
Another twist in this film, if you want to call it a twist, but I really like the direction it went because it's, you know, you get the trope of obviously Mads sending his daughter off to the room and you know bad shit's going to happen to her, right? Sure enough, she gets captured, whatever, and then brought to the front lawn. And I really liked the way they did this. And it was funny. It was heartwarming, but it was grounded in reality too. So when they capture it, Mads comes out, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a Gran Torino situation. He's going to get littered with bullets. That's literally what I thought, honestly. And I thought it was going to take a turn for the worst, like genuinely, just from the style.
Well, when
of the film.
one guy gets shot in the head, he comes up, he's like, I'm unhit. Remember, he's like, I can't believe it.
And then blood squirting, and I'm thinking, okay, everyone's dead in this film. Like,
well, they're all kind of Mads gets shot multiple times.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And I thought for sure even after that he was going to die.
Yeah.
But I did like the route that they went to because they're all like, "Okay, let's kill this fucker." And then all the dorks and like and
shoot the daughter though.
They shoot her unfortunately in the shoulder,
which I thought was great. I thought that cuz normally that scene would not work for me in a film. That would I'm like, okay.
But again,
kind
the
of
fact that she got hit,
yeah, exactly,
makes it more realistic, and that's where there was a comedy approach to it. But also like a very serious tone with it, where his daughter even got hit with a bullet.
The whole thing was just super level headed. Like nothing that we're doing, even though this premise is insane, like nothing we're doing can't be duplicated out in the real world.
Yes.
Like I loved even like him being like the killer and them being the nerds and then being like, yeah, we want training. Like these people are training. That never happens in a movie.
Never.
You always get the computer guys or whatever, and they're just fine ducking bullets the entire time.
Right.
They never go, hey, show me how to fucking shoot a gun. If I'm going to do this, that's what I loved about this film. It's like that makes, even though they never used it and never came into play, it just makes sense. You have one little 30-second scene, and it gives you some comedy elements as well, but it just shows a realistic portrayal of these guys. Yep. And that they're just not cannon fodder. You know, they're just not out here to die. They're actually going to put up a fight or whatever. I love that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that was something where I say no second was wasted in this film because they explained that. But even they gave enough explanation to how these guys operated, how they worked into like computer science and being able to pull up algorithms and analytics. And then, you know, obviously the face, what is that called?
Face recognition.
Face recognition, yes. But you know,
and then that's we won't get too much into that, but that's the whole thing that fucks them over. They say go down to 95%. They immediately find the guy who just happens to look like the guy
who happens to be the Riders of Justice brother. Yeah, rough go for that.
It is.
Gang.
I mean, karma. We have to assume.
Yes,
comes around.
They're selling drugs. They're killing people. So
wipes out the whole
right?
fucking gang. Yeah. Yeah, but I just love. I can't compliment the writing enough. The writing, direction, all done. I have to assume this will be nominated for Best Picture.
It has to be, and that's something. I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to say that by the end of this podcast. This absolutely has to be nominated for an Academy Award, for a foreign film. This was so good. This is my favorite film so far this year.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones as well. It has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Wow, that's pretty high.
That's pretty high. Yeah, I'd fucking say so. So I mean, we're not this film, yeah, it absolutely. I mean, best foreign film at least.
Yes.
But
we still got to see Jalika 2. Or not Jalika 2, Chiru.
True. Well, they don't give him the love. Jalika 2 didn't even make it.
I know, that's bullshit. That's wild to me.
But yeah, I mean, this film, I mean, it needs to. I think it needs to be nominated for Best Picture, not just Best Foreign Film, because it is, like you said, it's the best. It's one of the best films of the year so far.
And a great storyline too. Great, very well performed. Very serious moments. Like there was something. I'll always remember that scene when he goes, "Yeah, like you were responsible for your daughter."
Yeah,
and like there's a long uncomfortable pause.
I couldn't categorize this movie. I couldn't put it.
I would say black comedy, but you can't even.
But even then, it gets it's comedy elements, but the entire thing is not funny. I mean it.
No, yeah, there's some very serious moments.
Very serious moments. I mean, and even then, it's like I just don't walk away from this film thinking, "Oh my god, that was hilarious."
Yeah, no. Neither do I either. So it's kind of hard.
But that's what was so good about it, is it like I said, it dipped its toes into so many fucking genres at times.
Took some risks too.
Hell yeah,
to where you think it's going to be expected what happens, and it ends up being something completely different. They didn't even go down those roads.
Yeah, and I kind of touch on, but like it's like these three nerdy guys who you would see in a movie, and they would just be that. They would just be these nerdy computer guys. But that's not it. All these fucking characters. It's like what if we take just a normal, boring action comedy film, but we dove into these characters and see what they're like and how they become these kind of reclusive computer nerds. Yeah. And my God, it's fucking dark. It is fucking... Dude, if every action film did it like that, oh my God, yeah, it's...
The boyfriend scene, too, we didn't even get into that, but when he goes, tell me where it is, and he goes, no, don't break my... He goes, I'm going to break 2 now. And then he ends up breaking every finger in his hand.
Yeah, that guy was just going to snitch out immediately.
Oh, well, I mean when you're held with 20 gangsters with guns, I mean, what are you going to do?
Hopefully, and she posted on Instagram, you don't even feel that bad.
Okay, and I swear to you, though, that was the only thing I saw coming. When they started doing pictures, I was like, somehow that's going to come.
Well, because it was kind of, absolutely. I mean, obviously, yeah. Like you said, nothing was done for no reason. Exactly. So everything came back around. But yeah, it was just perfectly poetic because it just so happens that they end up killing these guys, and it just so happens they end up seeing him just on Instagram. Right. Like, it was just random.
Yep.
Just bad luck. I mean, it's going to be a tough job for the Danish police to connect all these fucking murders and this string of fucking violence, because it's something else, man.
Another thing, too, that they did is they showed the man on the subway go back to his home country, have a conversation with his kids, and be like, oh, yeah,
the Egyptian guy.
Or Danish food is awful, you know?
That's why he threw it away.
Yeah. So it actually was that he just threw it away.
I love that he, like, tried one thing, like a giant smoothie. Like, what?
Yeah, like some orange juice or something.
How bad could that have been?
Well, he said it was pretty bad.
Fuck this. I'm going back to Egypt right now. He's like, I can't.
Never going anywhere else.
It's like, what is one day here? This shit sucks. And he just immediately goes back.
Well, you can't blame him.
Threw away full sandwich, full drink.
He did. Which
I don't know what's going on over in Egypt.
I don't know either. I don't know what kind of food they got. Now I'm kind of curious.
Well, what kind of fucking luxuries? They can throw away $14 meals?
It's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy.
Good money.
It is. But yeah, I mean, I am. Closing thoughts on this. Recommend it. $6.99. I think you can rent
absolutely. This is my favorite film of the year. Yeah. So definitely go check this out. You are missing out if you don't watch this film.
I don't like saying that lightly, but you really
are.
This movie is separated from everything else. It's
so far this year, unquestionably.
But we got we got heavy hitters coming out.
We do got a lot.
Don't forget about Dune.
Yes, I know. You remind me all the time. Yes, Dune is coming. And I'm currently listening to the audio. If I
say it enough, it will be true.
Yes, it will.
That's what I have to, because
that's the
I've been saying it the last 4 years that Dune is coming.
That month of October is going to be insane for us.
I know. Yeah. This is going to be a good year.
It's going to be a great year.
I think this is starting it off. We've had some all right blockbusters, but this is setting the bar now.
It is.
And the bar is set pretty fucking high. Absolutely. Yeah, we got Halloween Kills coming out. We got Candyman.
October 15th.
Yeah,
we got Halloween Kills.
Yeah, Candyman's coming out in August, so we got we got a lot of shit coming out this July too.
We do. We will be very active and busy on this YouTube channel and our Patreon. Yeah, we got plenty of reviews coming for you guys. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the Writers of Justice review. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Go check out our new website, haveyouseenitpodcast.com. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.